We have a new world to conquer.
What's going on, guys? Logan YuGiOh here, and the Drykage is back in Master Duel to show you guys how to win with by far the greatest deck that you can play in the brand new Yu-Gi-Oh game. Now be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Stick around to the end of the video, we got replays to show you how it works. I really think you guys are going to dig this build. The deck is insane. We got triple Ben 10, we've got all the bells and whistles ready, locked and loaded to go. So without further ado, I don't want to preface this too much. Don't forget to check out your playmat, Team Grim YuGiOh, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Logan YuGiOh here, the Drykage, back at it again with Master Duel, one of the greatest decks that you can play, that being Drytron. And I'm not showing you one list, I'm showing you two different ways that you can play Drytron in Master Duels, both of which being extremely powerful. So be sure to stick around for the entire video. We're also going to have some replays at the end to show you how to play against some of the other competitive decks that you're going to be squaring up against. So without further ado, let's get into this list. We're going to start things off first and foremost with my basic build. I'm calling this Drytron 0.5 because we don't know what the Master Duel ban list is going to look like in the future, or how it's going to shake out, and this is still kind of in the beta test zone, alright? But I'm going to run through it for you real quick and talk about some things. And of course, if you guys have questions, please sure to leave them down in the comments down below. This deck carried me to Plat 1, hands down. Highest win streak with it was over 22 games, alright? Absolute savagery. So you guys already know, when you're packing Drytron, you're packing heat. Anyway, let's get into this. Starting things off, the main board, we've got double copies of Eva, because it's at 3. Of course, you're not playing 3, but wow, Master Duel will be crazy like that, so we're playing 2 copies just like in the good old days. Triple Alpha, Triple Gamma, Triple Zeta, okay? So we are doing something a little different in this build. Again, you guys already know that the golden ratio has shifted for me personally. We like playing more Drytron names, so we're playing triple copies of Gamma nowadays. And I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts about this. I see a lot more Drytron lists for Master Duel playing fewer names and playing more like tech choices, like going second cards and things of that nature, preparation of rights and pre-preparation of rights, which are, you know, cool and cute in their own right, but nothing beats having names. Nothing plays through boards better than having a crap ton of Drytron names. Now, mind you, there's some boards that are just going to be very difficult to crack, like the Emancipator board, things like that. It takes some serious doing to be able to get through it. But against back row decks, against mid-range decks, of which there are a lot running around on Master Duel, you can rip through them, rip them to shreds just with Drytron names alone, so we're playing a good amount of them. Moving on from there, we've got double copies of the Delta. That rounds out the Drytron lineup. Triple copies of Herald Orange Light, you guys already know, and triple copies of Diviner the Herald, essential. And then we're playing triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Ladies and gentlemen, you know why we're main decking this card? For one reason only. It's cool to have another hand trap in deck, but we're trying to stop that Max C, alright? That's why it's in here. If we get Max C, we have Ash, we smile, alright? Like, opening Alpha Zeta Max C, Alpha Zeta Ash Blossom is just one of the most satisfying feelings in the world, because you know you're just about to go off and have no fear for the Max C. Ritual lineup, we've got Natasha, triple Ben 10. I mean, Ben 10's at 3, guys. Why are we not playing it? In this build, we don't have, there's legitimately no need for Ida 10. There really isn't when you have triple Ben 10. Now, mind you, you got to keep it in your brain that you're only going to be able to ritual summon twice, alright? So make sure you're keeping track of that. It makes it a little bit different than playing Drytron in the TCG, so as long as you stay aware and knowledgeable of what you're doing, you should be able to do your plays properly, alright? Play with those 2 ritual summons. We got the Ultimateness, of course, you guys already know. Big Boy Negate. You don't need to play regular Perfection. I've seen lists playing both Ultimateness and Perfection. And what I'm saying is why? You're using the same type of fodder to fuel your negates and for 2 of the same card. Like, there's no reason to do that kind of thing. Now, if you're doing pre-preparation of rights and Perfection, that's one thing. You don't need to be playing Ultimateness, and that's a respectable strategy. But if you're playing both, that's absolutely ridiculous. And any list that tells you to do that is darn wrong. So take it from the Drykage himself. You're going to be playing the 1 Ultimateness, and that's going to be all you need. Moving on from there, we got the 1 copy of Drykonids. Alright, this is our backup plan. You guys already know how we do things. And this is really also good for cleaning up those boards. The fact that it can attack all the special summon monsters cannot be slept on, alright? So we want to stay on top of those kind of things, and of course we're still playing the Draconids, right? We don't got things like DPE and Dragoon, so we got to have our backup plans in the main deck, and that's what Draconids does. Triple copies of Emergency for consistency, same thing with the Nova, and I also play the 1 copy of Fafnir. I've kind of fallen in love with the 1 of Fafnir. I don't know what it is. I used to be like, nah, you don't need this card.
kind of like having this card, guys. So I'm all for it. I encourage you guys to play the one Fafnir. Just add to your consistency. Remember, names mean plays. And then we're also main decking 2 copies of Twin Twister. You could do something different like Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm. This is really your flex spot. If you wanted to main deck Max C, you could do that, but I wouldn't be caught with my pants down, aka not having any spell and trap removal, because Skill Drain's a card. Vanity's Emptiness is a card. You want to have a chance to deal with things like that. Now, mind you, I think you guys notice I am not main decking Max C in this build. You totally could, though, and there's space, you could make space for it. For me, I'm just trying to play the deck as best as it can be done, and I want maximized consistency. This is very reminiscent of our consistent Tron deck profile, so that's why we're choosing not to play Max C. It's not a Drytron, and it's not a fairy, it's not a ritual. So we're really, you know, cutting back on the hand traps. Now, mind you, does that put us at a disadvantage against things like Adamantipator, the Bird Up deck? Yeah, it can be tricky. Now, mind you, fighting through the Bird Up board is possible. The Adamantipator one's a little bit more tricky, but Eldlich, yeah, we don't really care. We can go second against it, we can rip through it. If we have to slow roll it, we can slow roll it. We can legitimately outgrind that strategy. As long as we're not floodgated too hard, we can do it. There's a lot of the meta Master Duel decks that we can just tear through with the core engine of its in and of itself. And when we go first, forget about it. We've just won. That simple. But yes, 2 copies of Twin Twisters, and you can change those. You cannot, however, change the 2 copies of Called By. You need to negate those Max Cs. Need I say more? Some people are even opting to play Droll, like the Striker players. Some of them are playing Droll. You gotta be ready for that joint. You gotta have your Called By the grid. So, you know, we're main decking those 2. No reason not to. Let's get into the extra deck real quick. We got the 1 Entis to pop cards. We are playing 2 Herald of the Arclight. You can cut this back to 1. You really could. I seldom have I can't even think of the last time that I used the second Arclight, to be completely transparent with you. So you could play this at 1 and make room for an additional card. There's one card in particular we're going to talk about a little bit later. Or you could play more Link monsters, like an Underworld Goddess would be pretty good, just outs things, you know, there's Nightmare Phoenix, things like that. In fact, I do want to mention that I used to be playing Nightmare Phoenix, and for a good chunk of my grind, I was playing Nightmare Phoenix, but I've since switched to Unicorn plus IP, again. So you could cut one of these Heralds if you wanted to. I see most lists are playing 2, though. We're sticking to 2 right now. That could change in the future. 1 copy of the Lurlisk Assembled Nightingale, essential, my guys. It facilitates your Zeuses, and we got the Fuko right here. You know what we like to call it. We summon this when we get Max C to guarantee that we don't die. Only thing it loses to is a Kaiju, and while it does give them a few draws, not nearly as many as taking the Max C challenge to try and put up your full board, because 5 to 6 ultimateness negates means nothing if your opponent's got 20 cards in their hand. So, you know, we got to be smart, right? We be smart. We only take the Maxi challenge when we're going second and we're killing them, right? So just keep that in mind, all right? Moving on from there, we got 2 copies of Moy Beta Fafnir Essential, 1 copy of Downer Magician to rank up into your Zeus, and of course you got the Beatrice to facilitate our Foolish Burialing, Link Monsters, the 1 Link Haribo, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, Boral Sword Dragon. Making the indestructible Boral Sword in Master Duel is so clutch. It's won me so many games. I'm just saying, like, have the end board of the IP setup and the ultimateness with your extra Beatrice and maybe 1 more body on board. It just makes it so free. You tag out into your Boral Sword, and then you just see a chump the opponent's board like that. It's the freest game, and it plays through the back row deck so easily. They can set 5 pass, you tag out IP at the end of their main phase, make the Boral Sword, switch your ultimateness to attack, not do a single darn thing. Not playing into torrentials, not playing into any problematic cards. Of course, Floodgates, like Skill Drain can still be tricky. You're still putting up a massive amount of damage. Wait, what am I saying? Ultimateness negate? Yeah, exactly. So you're not even concerned. And then we play the 1 copy Bapalosa, which does come up very often. It's the other card you're going to tag into off of IP if it's not one of these. These are like your core 3. Now, before I close out this one and we move on to our next list, take a look at this guy right here, right? Union Carrier, it's a darn good card. You could absolutely consider playing it. However, the reason why I don't play it is because I think we have plenty of access to names in the deck already with Moy Beta Fafnir and Beatrice that playing Union Carrier becomes unnecessary. Now, mind you, I get it's good to play through interruptions like Imperm Veiler, Ash Blossom. If you can put this card up, it can get you into your Eva plays. It does some cool things for the deck. But I just think it's become a little bit obsolete, so I choose not to play it in my particular build. If you still choose to play it, that's all you, my man. I just don't want to play Dawn Knight, number 1, and number 2. I can send my Eva off of Beatrice, and that completely satisfies me. So that's my take on that one. You guys take it or leave it. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the Union Carrier. Anyway, guys, this is the Plat build that just took me all the way to the top. Plat 1 easy, and it was free to play too. You guys can build this deck free to play 100% if you use your gems smart. And if you are smart, you're going to build a tier 1 deck with your gems. You build something like Drytron, Adamantipator's, Eldlich, you know. I, of course, am going to tell you to play Drytron because I'm a little biased, but, you know. And there's so many different ways you can do it. But this is what I'd like to think is the best way to play Drytron in Master Duel at this current point in time. Now let's get into another list. We're going to talk about it real quick. Then we got some replays, and we're going to wrap things up. Alright guys, here's that second list I was talking about. I'm not going to go through it card for card because it is very, very similar. I'm just going to point out the differences and what we're doing with this build, alright? It's really cheeky. And you guys already know, if you've seen my TCG Drytron videos, you know the add back Imperial Order combo. We literally put it into Master Duel. Why not, right? And some cool added benefits of this deck. Let me just point out the two main differences. We cut the Twin Twisters in the main in order to play Imperial Order and one copy of Eye-Detent, keeping us at an even 40. Now, are we susceptible to back row decks? Yes, we are, and it hurts a little bit more. But this is a bit more of a gimmicky build. And if you wanted to play with the ratios, cut back the names, you absolutely could fit in more like hard-going second cards like Twin Twisters or Maxis, like previously mentioned. So I'm only pointing out those differences, and I want to show you guys, of course, the Mech Beast Auroradon is chilling in here because we tribute all the tokens we summon off of it to add back the Imperial Order from grave. And this is so cool because this combo, you're ending on ultimateness for minimum 3 negates. And you also get to search Imperial Order, which means you're invalidating droplets, you're invalidating the entire Striker strategy, you're invalidating the Bird Call in the Tri-Brigade deck. It's really silly good. So I think it's a really fun thing that you guys can try out in Master Duel, and it's so easy to do. It's just so easy. Now, mind you, it is a little bit expensive, of course. We got a lot of URs. Look at this extra deck. It's all URs except for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, something like that. 4 cards. Everything's a UR. So this is another list you guys can totally give a try to. And we will have a replay of this playing at the end. So if you guys want to check that out, absolutely, just give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's so much fun. And a lot of people will just scoop to it when you invalidate like 2/3 of the game with your Imperial Order and your Herald of the Ultimateness just chilling on the board. And I do like the fact that we get to play Eye-Detent in this one because it makes it feel a lot more like TCG Drytron for me, so I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm a bit more liberal with my ritual summons, and it makes it feel like I can play through more. I don't know what it is, it's just how I feel. I think in this build, another change I would consider making is maybe adding in the Nightmare Phoenix since we're not maining decking the Twin Twisters. Does that help against cards like a Skill Drain? No, it does not, but, you know, just food for thought. And I also want to say that you don't have to search Imperial Order. You can search any trap. And another thing that I goofed around with thinking about is searching Vanity's Emptiness. Now, I haven't unlocked this card yet. I haven't purchased it with my gems, but I wanted to let you guys know that this is another card you can search. I think it's a little excessive because you're already ending on Ultimateness, right? So you have to be playing against a serious monster spam deck. But just for the novelty of the fact that you could search this card is pretty insane to me. Anyway, guys, that's it for this list. We got some replays, and then we're calling it a day, guys. So have fun at Master Duel playing the best deck of all time. It got even better. Can you guys believe it? Guaranteed tier 1. You're going to make it to Plat. We're all going to make it, bruvs. Trust me. Trust the strat. Stick to the game plan. Shout out Triff Gaming. All right, let's get it, baby.
好きな運命